This is the Moth Radio Hour. I'm Sarah Austin Janess. This is an episode all about thrill seekers and outdoor adventure. Our first is Mac Dryden. Mac comes to us from our Open Mic Slam series in Louisville, where we partner with public radio station WFPL. The theme was firsts. So, live at the Moth in Kentucky, here's Mac Dryden.
I grew up on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, which is really marshy and like mud-puddle flat. And we used to play on this big 20-foot pile of dirt on a construction site. And until about the 5th grade, that was the highest point of land I had ever seen in my life. So when I was 12 and my brother was 10, and our parents took us on vacation to the Smoky Mountains, this was like a life-changing experience. We just were stunned. We drove into the mountains with 2 little swamp rats in the back seat looking up, and you could look into the sky a half a mile, and there were rocks and trees and stuff up there. It was just, we were dumbstruck. We couldn't believe it. So we started begging my dad, please pull over. Let us climb up a mountain, please. Finally, he pulled over at a rest stop at the foot of a mountain. He said, be careful. And we scrambled over there. There were kids, a bunch of kids, families there, and they were not climbing the mountain that was right there. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, so we got up about 60 feet, and my mom called out, and we looked down, and she had this brownie camera, and we did a manly pose, and she took a picture, and so we could now prove to our swamp rat buddies back home that we'd been on a mountain. And so we went up far enough for my dad to say, okay, that's far enough, boys, he yelled down. We turned around. It was just incredible. I mean, it had taken a while to get up. It was steep. It wasn't dangerous, but we had to hold on to trees and put our little PF flyers on rocks and bushes and actually climb the thing. So we were up there, and we turned around, and it was just magnificent. It was amazing. And I looked over, and I saw a rock, and I picked it up, and I put it in my pocket to commemorate this event. I had my souvenir rock. And then I saw this other rock that was kind of roundish and about the size of a small wash tub. And I wondered if it might jiggle. So I put my back against a tree, and I pushed with my legs, and sure enough, the thing gave a little bit. And I said to my brother, let's see if this rock will go all the way to the bottom of the hill. I know, but you have to understand that where we grew up, to move something that big and that heavy anywhere took a lot of effort. Tools, machinery, big guys, you know. I was a skinny 12-year-old. What did I know? We had no concept of the physics involved in mountains. So my brother said, I don't think so. And he was never as impulsive as I. He turned out to be a prosecuting attorney, as a matter of fact. But anyway, no, I said, come on, it'll be fun. Help me okay, I'll do it myself. And gosh, I strained and I rocked, and sure enough, that thing started down the hill, and it became very apparent very quickly that this thing was not only going to make it to the bottom of the hill, this rock might make it to Gatlinburg, you know. So I screamed, Daddy! And my dad looked up, my poor dad, he looked up, and he sees his 200-pound battering ram screaming down the mountain toward the rest area, cars, families, kids. He's screaming, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. And he watched helplessly as this missile comes flying through at 60, 70 miles an hour, missed the back of our car about 10 feet, bounced across the parking lot on the other side and into some woods. After hitting nothing, it was a minor miracle. It really was. I mean, this is the first mountain I have ever touched. So I didn't know. And I looked down and I saw my mom, and she had her head in her hands. She was sobbing into her hands, and my dad was holding onto the car because his legs would collapse out from under him. And I looked at my brother, and he was looking at me with an expression that was real easy to read. Dead man walking. I knew what was waiting for me at the bottom of the hill, so I took my time and gave my mom time enough to remind my dad that he had wanted children. And to give my dad time enough to count to 10,000. And he made very sure that there was one lesson in rock technology that I never, ever, ever, ever forgot. Thank you.
That was Mac Dryden. Mac has been a stand-up comedian and a motivational speaker for more than 30 years, so he's constantly traveling somewhere.